This is what the hottest day on record looks like in the UK, as the country hit 40 degrees Celsius for the very first time. You can see here, farmers in South Yorkshire try to plough fire breaks to protect their land. The grass fires spread to homes as well, like these ones in East London, in Wennington, where about 100 firefighters tried to battle the flames as they spread quickly from house to house.
It went from the first house, and then within a couple of minutes, it had jumped to the second house, and then it started burning through the back gardens. So after we helped the firemen, we actually then started moving all the gas cans and all that, because we thought, oh, they're going to contain it. And then even with about 15 minutes, both houses were completely up. Then it carried on spreading to the next door house.
Temperatures peaked on Tuesday, meaning cooler temperatures ahead, but the UK isn't used to these sorts of scenes, nor this kind of heat. In 1976, they peaked just shy of 36 degrees Celsius. It took 27 years to top that record, but things are speeding up. 16 years after that was another new record, and here we are, only 3 years later, and we're at 40 degrees Celsius. And across Europe, wildfires have continued to rip through the continent's forests. The damage is clear in France. Summer campsites have been destroyed. The country has seen tens of thousands of hectares burned and tens of thousands of people evacuated. North of Athens in Greece, green hills were covered in smoke as authorities reported 39 wildfires in just 24 hours. Some residents were so close to the fires, they found it hard to breathe. In Spain, more than 30 wildfires continued to ravage parts of the country, edging closer to residential areas. The country's prime minister paid a visit to one of the hardest hit regions in Galicia.
So far this year, 70,000 hectares have already been burned across this country. To give us an idea, this is almost double the number of hectares that have been burnt on average over the last decade.
Heat waves are happening more frequently, becoming more severe and causing temperatures some countries have never seen before. As climate scientists continue to warn world leaders about the urgent need to cut emissions, these fires have made sure the issue is front and centre for the time being. Azadeh Mashiri, BBC News.
Our correspondent Jessica Parker in southwestern France told me the extent of the destruction caused by the wildfires there.
I'm at the command post for La Teste de Bouc, so as you can see behind me, lots of fire engines. Here it's sort of the command HQ for this wildfire. There's sort of two main ones that have been raging over the last week here in southwestern France. Actually, there's some good news overnight. What the authorities are saying is that the fire has made very little progress. And I don't know if you can see it, you probably can't, but there is a little bit of light rain falling now. And I'm told as well there was a little bit of rain as well overnight. Not a lot. But of course, that is helpful, much more helpful to the firefighters than those soaring temperatures that we had on Monday, where you had temperatures of over 40 degrees, quite a lot of changeable winds as well, which really made for a huge struggle. We saw 16,000 people evacuated on that day alone. Since then, temperatures have started to drop, but you know the fire is not out. I mean, it's very smoky here, and just in that direction is towards the fire, and I can see it just gets smokier and smokier the further in that you would go. We're just on the outer edge of the perimeter where people, journalists and local authorities are allowed in. But things do seem a little better than they were. But having said all of that, I think it's over 37,000 was the latest figure of people remain evacuated from this area and the other fire further inland at Landiras, and it's still not clear when those people might be able to return home.
And just tell us about the sort of area that's been affected, and is this something that they've encountered before? Anything like it?
Anything like it, no, but wildfires are a known risk. We've talked to campsite owners, for example, and just in the report that we just saw, 5 campsites along this stretch of coastline here were burned down in the blaze. But when we were speaking to a campsite owner a few days ago, they were saying it is their kind of biggest risk that they take account for. But in terms of whether they've ever seen anything like this, no. Some people mention incidents sort of over 50 years ago, even 60 or 70 years ago, now I think about it, doing my maths. So this is very unusual. And of course, what we've been hearing from the likes of the World Meteorological Organization is that these kinds of heat waves with climate change could become or will become more often, maybe even more extreme. So it is something that here in southwestern France, across Europe as well, of course, we're seeing countries increasingly having to grapple with.